Hello, guys, and welcome back. You're watching the Camera 64 podcast, and I am your host, Alfonso Chavez. And as always, we're coming to you from sunny San Antonio, Texas, guys. So, today on the podcast, I have been asking for people to send over questions about photography, any ideas that you may have, and I have yet to receive any. So, I was sitting at home the other day, and there's one of the groups that I like to be a part of, and that's the beginning photography group here on Facebook, which is fantastic. I always like helping out new photographers. So I came across a question that I do in person always get asked by people who either want to be in photography or want to advance in photography. And this is a question that I get quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that. And I'm going to start off by first reading what the question was, right? So here's the question, and this is exactly what the person wrote. I'm not going to deviate from it at all or in any way. It says, advice needed. I usually do photography as a hobby, but several family and friends have asked me to take back to school and fall photos for them. Should I charge them to do it or ask for a tip? And if I do charge, what would you suggest? I'm going to school for photography soon, but feel as though I am not quite consistent enough to start charging for photos. So that's the question that the young lady is asking of the group. She's new to photography. She's done some stuff, and now she's having people ask her to do stuff for them. So there's a couple of ways to go about answering this question, but I'm going to start by answering it piece by piece and breaking it down and what I would do or how I was when I started and things that I would have changed had if I was started or knew. Let's start all over again. Knowing what I know now, how I would have handled things or situations is totally different than when you're new. And a lot of it has to do with, again, experience, right? How much experience do you have? So the first thing is advice, guys. Now, you can ask advice all day long, but at the end of the day, it is your decision whether or not you're going to follow that advice. Also, you have to decide, is that advice good for me? Does it work for me in my situation? That's my advice on advice. Now, I will take all the advice that somebody wants to give me, absolutely, but I do take all of it with a grain of salt, and I do pick and choose what I take out of that advice and whether or not I implement those pieces of advice. Okay? So the first thing about free photography. Now, I am not against not doing free photography now, but here's the thing. Being that if you've made the decision that you want to become a photographer, being a photographer is extremely expensive. And if you don't believe me, just do a web search. Look at cameras, look at lenses, look at flashes, look at computers, look at memory cards. You're going to find out really quick that it is not cheap being a photographer, guys. So you have a choice. You can either pay for it out of your own pocket, which there's nothing wrong with that. And in my opinion, that's what a hobby photographer is, right? It's their hobby. So they purchase things without looking for any kind of a return. But if you are in the camp where I want to become a paid photographer, then you definitely don't want to be paying for your own stuff. You want your clients or the people that are hiring you to pay for your stuff. I mean, obviously not in one complete purchase, but over time, what your customers and clients are paying you is what you're going to use to buy your equipment. And we'll get more into that. But that just takes me to the first part of this, which says normally I am a hobbyist photography, but several family and friends have asked me to take back to school and fall pictures of them. Now that is the first part of this. Okay, free photography, the only person that should be giving out free photography is you yourself, guys. So as a photographer, if I'm gonna do a session for free, I have to say, okay, I'm gonna do this for you for free. You have to be offering it, okay? Always. That's the first rule. If somebody is asking you to do it for them, okay, guys, then it's no longer to your benefit. That's the key right there. Is you can do free photography so long as it's to whose benefit? Your benefit. You as the photographer's benefit. Okay? The moment that you're doing a job for the benefit of somebody else and you're not getting absolutely anything out of it, like whether it's practice or whether it's a promo somehow, and not a cheap promo. I'm not talking about those people that say, "Do this for me. It's gonna be great promotion for you." No, no, no. If it's promotion that I know personally is gonna help me, or that I think it's gonna advance, but it's because I think it's gonna advance what it is I'm trying to do. So that's the first clue right there. That yes, in her situation, she's saying they are asking me to take photo school and fall photos for them. So if they're asking you to do it, yes, there should be a charge. Absolutely. And then she says, should I charge them to do it or ask for a tip? Now, here's the other part of that now, okay? So there should be a charge if they're asking you to go do this work for them. Now, the next part of this is she asking, do I charge them directly or do I simply ask for a tip? Now, here's the difference now. She already has said that she's a hobbyist photographer and she does it for herself. Okay, guys? So if she knows that she's a hobbyist photographer, she has to clarify that. You got to clarify that. I am a hobbyist photographer. I only take pictures for myself. I've only done for myself up to this point. But if you're asking me to do this for you, then I need to charge you, okay? That's one approach to it. Now, if you feel that what you're doing is not going to have a great benefit for them, that's going to determine your price, okay? So if you feel non-confident or very low confident, then what do you think you should be charging? If your confidence is very low, you're going to charge a low amount. Charge them a small amount, whether it's, I don't know, $40, $50, whatever it is that you want to charge, because that's not even about that. But what I'm trying to get at is if your confidence level is low, then the amount that you should be charging should also be low, because what you're charging should correlate with where you're at in the journey, right? If you're way up here in the journey, then obviously you're going to charge a lot more, okay? So, but there's ways to get around this, okay? And it all has to do with wording. And I tell this to photographers all the time. I say, look, guys, you tell them. I mean, for me personally, like if I was going to do it all over again and I was starting over, here's the way I would word this. Okay, so going back to how I would do it now. Sorry about the disruption, but if I was doing it now, here's the way I would word it, guys. Rather than saying, I'm going to charge you, or I'm not going to charge you, or I need a tip, or tips are greatly appreciated, I say forego all of that. Here's the way I would say it, guys. I would simply say, look, I'm new to photography. I'm still learning, still practicing, still getting my wits about me. I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to charge you. But now this is where you catch them. Photography is really expensive, and I'm trying to get some new gear that is going to improve my photography. So even though I'm not going to charge you, anything that you want to give me would be greatly appreciated. Okay? And that story is super important, guys, because in my opinion, you should either charge because you know what you're doing already, and if you don't know what you're doing, you should just not charge. But you don't not charge and literally not collect anything. You say, no, I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to charge you, but whatever value you want to put on it, because I'm trying to improve my photography, and I need to get some new lenses, and I need to get some new flashes, and I need to get a tripod, and I need some extra batteries, and I need some new SD cards, or whatever your story. But somewhere along those lines, guys, you want to tell people a story so that they can relate, they can understand, and also they want to help. Guys, you'd be surprised. I'm not kidding you. I have done countless family photos. I haven't done one recently, but I'm talking about years ago when I was still learning. Okay, I wrote into one. I did a family shoot, and it was one huge family, which had about maybe 6 or 7 smaller families within. Okay, and I was very clear. Hey guys, I don't do a lot of family sessions. I'm gonna do my best for you guys, and I'm not gonna charge you. And then I'm gonna deliver this to you guys using Dropbox, which is my delivery method, right? So I took the pictures, I dropped them a Dropbox, and then they asked me for a Cash App. So I sent over a Cash App to one of the ladies, and then guess what? Over a week's period of time, about 5 of those smaller families within the large family sent over $100. I made almost $400 or $500 on a 1-hour session, guys, which I didn't charge them for. I wasn't charging them because I told them, I said, hey, I don't have a lot of experience doing family pictures, but I'm gonna do my best, and I'm trying to improve myself. And I ended up making $400 or $500. It's been like 6 or 7 years ago, but it's just a story that I like to relay and let people know. See, you don't have to be ashamed and say, hey, I'm new. No, no, no. You should wear it like a badge of honor and say, hey, I'm new. I'm gonna do my best. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to get a new camera or new lenses. Again, that's your story. Stick to it. Say, I'm not charging you. Whatever value that you can find or get out of this, then absolutely, I'll take that from you. You can make tons of money just doing that, guys. Just doing that. Okay? And then she goes on, and from that point, she just goes on and talks about, I don't feel confident yet. I'm not quite as consistent enough to start charging for photos. Yeah, and I feel that same way too, guys. I never charged. Gosh, I want to say the first 2 years, I never charged. It was always that same technique right there. And fortunately, I made enough money to be able to move up because I started with a Canon T2i. No, I take that back. I started with a Canon XT, and then my mom bought me my T2i, and then from there I was able to go to a 5D Mark II, a 1D, and then I came back, I bought a 40D, I bought a 70D, and then I bought another 1DX, and now I shoot on an R6. So it's just a progression, guys. It's a progression, but also you got to understand, guys, the only way to stay on top in this game is you got to continuously keep stepping on that ladder, continuously stepping on it. But if you're not charging or you're afraid to charge, then you're never going to move up that ladder. You're going to take that first step up, and that's where you're going to stay. If you don't, everything that you buy that's actually helping your photography, and I'm not talking about buying dumb stuff, guys. I'm talking about going from a kit lens up to a prime lens, up to like a 24 to 72/8 portrait zoom lens. I'm talking about really real upgrades that are really going to improve your photography. If you're not taking those steps, okay, you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck in a certain level, and that's it. You're never gonna move up. And so a lot of times new photographers will jump in and they're not moving up, and they just can't seem to figure out, why am I not moving up? Well, it's because they're not charging. Okay, guys? You're learning and you're learning and you're learning, and your learning should be continuously taking you up without buying any gear. You can, your first year, maybe even 2, keep the same gear. And as long as you're learning, you're progressing, you're making your photography better, then you are moving up that ladder, just not at a super fast pace. But if you're not charging, you're not taking in any money, guess what? You're either going to continue to pay out of your pocket, or you're going to stay the same. You're not going to get better. You're just not. You're going to be stuck there because you can only get so far, you know. I'm happy, I'm glad that I did not have the money, because what it did is it forced me, my T2i, I've gotten 250,000 photographs off of my Canon T2i, which I still own today. It's all banged up. I've dropped that camera I don't know how many times. It still works today, guys. I never use it for anything anymore, but I kept it around because it's so beat up, and I like to show it to people and tell them, look, if I shot on this Canon T2i for 250,000 shots, guys, I made my money, gosh, tenfold or more, tenfold, 20-fold. God knows how much money I made off of that one camera, and it was well worth it. I wouldn't trade it any other way. So when I did finally move up, that 5D wasn't intimidating to me. That 1DX wasn't intimidating to me either, because I already had nice lenses, I already had nice flashes. But most important above all of that is the fact that I had the knowledge up here to be able to use. At that point, the camera didn't even matter anymore. I'm serious. Like if I could find two brand new T2Is, and somebody handed that to me with my flash setup that I currently use, and my selection of lenses that I currently use, I'm fine. I could shoot T2I weddings all day long. It wouldn't bother me one bit. So that answers her question, guys. So if you're new, here's my thought. Either charge or don't charge. If you're charging, charge them. If you're not going to charge them, use your story that I just talked about, guys. So I hope you have liked this video. I want to share videos like this that actually have knowledge about how to actually move up, what your mindset, what your thought process should be concerning your photography, and how to move and advance your photography along, guys. I don't want nobody to come into the game and then get stuck, because I see that so often. People start and then they just get stuck. They become stagnant. They don't know what else to do because they feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have the money to move up. You're going to spend a lot of money in photography, period. No matter what avenue you go through, whether it's renting gear, whether it's buying gear, whether it's going to training classes, you're going to spend money, period. I mean, end of story. There's no buts about it. It's going to cost you money. So in my opinion, if you're going to spend that kind of money, or spend the kind of money that I've already spent, you definitely want to be making some money in return from your clients. Because if you're not, your wife, your significant other, in my case, my wife, is going to be on my case. Now, do you think my wife would let me go off and buy a $3,000 or $4,000 camera if I didn't have no way to make that money back? She'd be like, I don't think so. Get out of my face. That's exactly, not even an exaggeration. That would be her response, guys. That would be her response. So that's been the show today. I'm glad that I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start taking questions that I catch on Facebook and discussing my opinion about it, because I think I have a lot to offer as far as that goes, being that I've been in the business for so long and been enjoying every minute of it. But there are some pitfalls, so just be aware, guys. There are pitfalls out there. So till next time, I've been your host, Alfonso Chavez, and you've been watching the Camera 64 podcast today, coming right here from my driveway. But guys, I hope you liked this, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give me a thumbs down. And if you give me either one of those, give me a reason why. Just drop me a note below, let me know. Or if you have something that you would like to hear me talk about, please let me know. Send me a message. I will definitely do a show talking about your request. Or if you have camera gear questions, yeah, ask those too. I'll be more than happy to give my opinion on it, guys. So till next time, you take care. Bye-bye. Adios.